Minnesota Vikings fall to 4-6 on the season after just giving away now against the destitute Dallas Cowboys. What can you do? Vikings are currently 13th in the NFL draft order. Vikings currently in a 5-way tie at 4-6 with the Lions, Patriots, as well as the Broncos and the Niners. Through various tiebreakers, Vikings end up 13th. It's whatever. So taking a look at the board and what's on top, and then doing a mini mock draft down to the Vikings pick, as we've been doing every single week. So Vikings, not much change. They were 14 in the draft order last week after beating the Chicago Bears on Monday Night Football. Not much has changed at the top. A little bit of shifting as the Jets are still 1, Jaguars still 2. The Bengals unfortunately fall, and they're going to fall even further with Joe Burrow tearing his ACL. Really sad, unfortunate. And here's what's hilarious. So Dallas, Washington, and the Chargers don't really move. I mean, they're all 3-7. Oh, by the way, yeah, the Giants is at 3-7 as well. So what's amazing is that three out of the 4 NFC East teams are probably going to be drafting in the top 10, if not the top 8. And then one is going to be drafting in 19th plus or in the 20s as a playoff team, which is just hilarious. Football's the best. So we'll get into draft needs. Lots of teams need quarterbacks, but unfortunately the Vikings could be out of range for the top 4, even at 13. So let's get in and take a look. So Jets 1, Trevor Lawrence. That one is the no-brainer. Always going to be the no-brainer. And maybe White Suge Knight, a.k.a. Joe Douglas, will be able to surround Lawrence with enough talent where Trevor won't die like a David Carr, nailed it, type death on the 2002 Texans. So would be nice to see. Also, if Sam Darnold is available, may we interest you in our finest 5th round picks. Right. Number 2, Jaguars, Justin Fields, quarterback of the future. Fields showed some onions. He made some mistakes against Indiana, and also the concerns are still there about pocket awareness as well as when things get off schedule. But Fields in Jacksonville, East Florida, got the Florida-Georgia flavor, will be a fan favorite in the region right away. And I think that they have enough interesting pieces at the skill positions, as well as James Robinson, the running back, that, hey, all of a sudden maybe Jacksonville could be kind of interesting. Plus, I mean, if you're done with Gardner Minshew, maybe we interest you in our finest 7th round picks. 3, Bengals. So the Bengals have entered the chat. Penny Sewell. This one's pretty easy and straightforward, where if you have the best left tackle prospect since Anthony Munoz, you should probably take him, especially if you're the Bengals who had Anthony Munoz. And getting him, Jonah Williams, they need to build a decent offensive line in front of Burrow. Like, Burrow will be fine. He'll bounce back off the ACL and be good to go. But the fact that they're able to drop a couple games and then be in range for Penny Sewell, pretty amazing. For Cowboys, Caleb Farley, quarterback of Virginia Tech. So even though the Cowboys cornerbacks did well for part of the game, eventually they got shredded, torn up by Thielen and Jefferson and company. And also, could you imagine Caleb Farley paired up with Trevon Diggs once he gets back from his broken foot? That's a nice cornerback duo going forward. 5, Washington, no pants for Trey Lance. They need a new QB. Dwayne Haskins is not Ron Rivera's guy. So Haskins coming in. I'm not buying the whole Alex Smith could be the QB of the future. Great story. I don't see him going forward. But Trey Lance, maybe Alex Smiths himself for Trey Lance's Patrick Mahomes. Could be in that spot, or you could see Zach Wilson going here. I think they're relatively interchangeable at this point. But Trey Lance of Washington got the mobility, got the big arm. Scary Terry, Antonio Gibson. It's not bad. In DC. 6, Chargers. So I don't know if Anthony Lynn's going to be back, which is unfortunate because I like A-Lynn, but they do need some help on defense. They need to get after the pass rusher. Them being without Joey Bosa is a massive, massive loss. But Kwity Paye coming in, putting him opposite of Bosa and just getting after it. Where Paye can play the edge, can play 5-tech, can do a lot of things up and down that Chargers defense. I think that I know that Gregory Rousseau got all the love initially. I know that Joseph Asai from Texas is interesting as well, but I think Paye is definitely establishing himself, and he's having a phenomenal year. 7, Giants. So I think they'll stick with Daniel Jones for one more year just to see what happens. But they do need some weapons on the outside if they want to give Danny Ballgame a true shot. So picking up Jamar Chase, the number one receiver, cold weather, putting him outside at the X. He's a much more talented Plaxico Burress, and hopefully not going to the club with gun in your sweatpants, which is always less than ideal. I feel like that should be an ancient Chinese proverb. Don't go to the club with a gun in your sweatpants, but yeah. 8, so Dolphins, Liam Eichenberg, the tackle from Notre Dame. Notre Dame's been cranking out some dudes, man, on the offensive line. And Tua, if he's not benched in the future, does need help. I think Austin Jackson as well as Liam Eichenberg going forward to be a nice little tackle duo. 9, Falcons. So they're going to have a new GM. Looking for a quarterback of the future. Matt Ryan isn't getting any younger. So maybe Matt Ryan, one more year, maybe 2, but putting Zach Wilson behind him as the heir apparent, I think it makes a ton of sense, even though maybe the Falcons see themselves as win now mode since they do have Julio, and also they still do have Matt Ryan, but I think that they're enough down this path where they need to start building towards the future and ride it out for a year or 2. Maybe they trade off Julio Jones, get all those draft picks, try to pull a Herschel Walker with him. I wouldn't be shocked. But yeah, Wilson is going to be in the top 4 quarterback conversation. I think he will be a top 10 pick when it's all said and done, given the quarterback tax. So Falcons, Wilson. It sucks, but yeah. 10, Panthers, picking up Patrick Surtain II, coming out of Alabama, second corner off the board. So Matt Rule wants a young, fast defense and getting another legacy piece here. Of course, his dad played in the league back in the day. Also, Patrick Surtain Sr. was on the Dolphins, and his Madden rating was always like really cranked up. Like he was a 95 all the time. It's kind of hilarious. 11, Lions, picking up Micah Parsons out of Penn State, where with the quarterbacks going off the board, as well as a little bit of a tax on offensive tackles, as well as cornerbacks. I mean, just Micah Parsons just there. It's like Isaiah Simmons or falling down the Cardinals, or like Brown going to the Panthers. Just there's always talented players that just seem to fall. So Parsons, Penn State, familiar with the area, Big Ten for life. Also, the Lions nailed it. Do need a leader at linebacker. Parsons could be their new Chris Spielman, but with coverage skills. It's like the best Spielman ever. 12, J.C. Horn, cornerback out of South Carolina. Now, Patriots could easily go quarterback in the spot, but I think at the top of the second, that's where you could find Mac Jones. That's where you could find Kyle Trask. I don't know if they sneak into the first round, but the Patriots in this spot, I think Stephon Gilmore's gone. I think they let J.C. Jackson walk in free agency as well. So getting J.C. Horn, big physical cornerback, put him up in the New England Winters. Could do good things on that Belichick defense. So now, the Vikings have a decision, and it's always pretty easy. So Wyatt Davis, interior offensive lineman from The Ohio State University. So there's a reason why when Indiana was getting pressure, it was not on that right side. And there's a reason why when Ohio State was running for 300 plus yards against Indiana, it was on the right side. They know where their bread is buttered. It's behind number 52's butt. Wyatt Davis is the pick if the Vikings are in this situation. Now, understandable. If the Vikings want to deal up to 9 and get Zach Wilson, maybe the Falcons will be open to that, because maybe they're like, okay, we're going to get the quarterback of the future, but let's give it one more go with Matt Ryan and Julio. We'll get a couple picks. We'll try and build around them. Maybe we'll pick up a quarterback in the mid-rounds. Maybe we'll go that route. But if they don't, and the Vikings have to stick and pick in this spot, I think there is no other selection. You have a chance to get the best interior offensive lineman in the draft. Ezra Cleveland's been great at right guard, but put him at left guard, put him at left tackle. Don't really care. Don't overthink this. You have a chance to have a guy who has NFL anchor, who has great mobility in the run game, has power to blocking gap, and is going to be just an NFL stud from day one. And I think that he is the missing piece on the Vikings offensive line. Dakota Dozier looked good for a while. He is certainly not the answer. Also, the Vikings have to look to the future past Riley Reif. And I think Ezra Cleveland still could be that left tackle of the future. So why not pick up Davis in this spot? Yeah, I know. quarterback. Well, guess what? It's a great quarterback class, extremely deep, mid-rounds. Whether you want to trade up in the second round, you still have 2 third-round picks. Maybe you have 3, depending on what happens with that Trey Waynes compensatory pick. So I think that if you go quarterback here, offensive line here, go quarterback in the mid-rounds, grab yourself some Desmond Ridder in the third round. Maybe you maneuver for Kyle Trask or Mac Jones in the second. Maybe pick up Derek King or Kellen Mond. There are many opportunities here. And if the Vikings do hang on to Kirk Cousins for 2 years, which with his contract that's going to be, I mean, it doesn't really make a ton of sense to trade up and go get your guy if you know for a fact that Cousins will be your quarterback in 2021 and 2022. But if you pick up a mid-round guy who can sit, develop, absorb all the Kubiak offense and juices, and just really marinate and get all tender and juicy, and then all of a sudden 2023, woo, you were good to go. I think that's a smarter route to go. Wyatt Davis will help you right away. I don't know if Desmond Ridder or Kyle Trask or Mac Jones or any of the mid-round late guys could potentially help you day one, especially if you keep Kirk Cousins, obviously. So, yeah, I think if the Vikings are stuck in this spot, easy peasy, lemon squeezy. But Spielberg ignores the offensive line. Why are you taking a guard? No. Keep it simple, stupid. Kissing. Go get your guy. So, there you go. But your thoughts? New draft order after Week 11's games, as well as a mini mock draft. Let us know in the comment section below. Subscribe for daily Vikings takes. Want to support that work? Post some in the Venmo. But until next time, Skol, production value.